Well, I hope you're having a good time like I'm having a good time. I'm here with Paul Van Lair, and he's with GrowFresh, and he's going to tell us what he has at his store. Paul, tell our listeners, first of all, where your store is located.
Our store is on the southeast corner of 29th and 0 Street in the same shopping mall as Eureka Pizza and Classy Cleaners. We're one block west of the Tackle Box, about halfway between 540 and Walmart on 0 Street.
And basically, the reason that I invited Paul here today to let you know it was really about fall gardening. But you have a lot of things that you want to tell our listeners, not just about fall gardening and what you want them to start thinking about, not just farming or growing plants in the spring, but also in the fall and in the winter. And what other products do you have there at your store?
That's right. We really try to focus on really being a productive goods store. I've called it a subsistence art store, a craft store, all the things that your grandparents used to do out of necessity, we now do for fun. It's now sort of hip to make your own stuff. And as I said earlier in the show, it's nice to give things to other people. And one of the things we're coming up on right now is muscadine season. A lot of local folks will know to get out there and pick some muscadines. That is directly related to one of the things we do in our store, and that's winemaking. We have winemaking, home brewing, cheese making, canning, long-term storage bags, as well as hydroponic and organic gardening supplies.
Well, I just want you to know that one of my favorite things is muscadines. And as a matter of fact, if you want to go pick muscadines, I know a secret place where we can pick 5-gallon bucketfuls. And it's
Red?
Well, it's because, I'm Mr. Outdoors and I know these things. And if the bears like them, I think we would like them.
I like muscadine.
So anyway, tell us some more about your store and things that you like to grow.
Some of my favorite things to grow, because I now have a full-time engineering job and a family, are perennials. I like to tend to things now and again. I'm not as much an avid annual gardener. I like greens. I grow a lot of greens, and I grow fruit trees. I grow blueberries. Of course, I say that about annuals, but we have a number of peppers and tomatoes, because those are what inspired me to get into gardening as a kid, was hot peppers. I actually think it was a Boy's Life magazine that I pulled an old pepper catalog, ordered it, and when I received it with the anatomy of a pepper and I saw that capsaicin in there, I figured I had to grow some peppers. So that was really what got it started. So peppers, tomatoes. I grow a lot of unusual fruits like pluots. Jujubes have been one of the most productive things that I've grown lately. They're really a great plant for Arkansas in that they begin to flower and leaf out very late, and they produce fruit a little later. So they're not as susceptible to the random freezes we have. Cherries have not been so productive. It's either too warm of a winter or it freezes when it starts to get warm. Anybody who's been gardening in Arkansas knows that there's nothing constant about Arkansas gardening, or consistent.
That's absolutely true. And one of the other things that we talked about, you were talking about when you grew up, you were talking about native plants and things, and you and I had this discussion about native plants. I really wanted to plant native plants, but it's hard to really find someone that can actually sell native plants, because there's not everybody wants the big showy, the tropical, the flowering plants that are not native to here. What do you say to somebody like that?
I'm glad that you enjoy those plants. Unfortunately, we don't sell them at my store. Really, honestly, I like beautiful gardens as much as the next person. I love a well-designed landscape. I think that there's much beauty to be had in annuals. Anybody who likes to dig in the soil to change up their garden. Part of GrowFresh is just that. It's keeping it fresh, keeping new ideas. I like to say grow fresh, never stagnate. Grow fresh every day. Change it up. So if potted plants, if bedding plants and that type of thing are your shtick, then I'm glad you're digging in the dirt.
Well, I am digging in the dirt because I took you out back and showed you. I don't know if you have a thing against petunias, but I got a lot of petunias out there. But what we're trying to do is make, Mr. Outdoors is a little bit of everything. Yes, we're hunting. Yes, we're fishing. But you know what? I like to plant plants, and I'm going to have a hummingbird and butterfly garden in the bulldog, yes, the bulldog area out back.
It's a bulldog area
Oh, yeah.
with plants.
Well, it's a bulldog statue. It's not a real bulldog, but we also have a Greek goddess back there, a Greek goddess fountain as well.
Wow, now we're really pushing the limits. I think that it's great that you get the dog out in the yard.
Yes, well, here in Greenwood, we have to have our bulldogs.
That's right. I have a bulldog.
Well,
An
there you
American
go.
bulldog. It's
There-
not an English bulldog like the mascot is, but I like my American bulldog.
That's okay too. Well, we're having a great time here. I'm with Paul Van Lare. He is the owner of GrowFresh, and he's telling us how to keep our gardens fresh with also, keep those mass trees like chestnuts. We've heard of mass trees like oak trees, because all the deer life, but we've had chestnuts here as native plants as well.
That's right. The story of the chestnut is very interesting. They were all wiped out in
I
the
know
early
the story.
1900s.
There's chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
However, the chinkapin chestnut is the one that we still see sometimes around here. It's a smaller nut, and it was also affected by the blight. But yeah, food plots, I believe a lot of people are getting into honeybees. So what you mentioned, native flowers, wildflowers are something that people don't often think of. Your buckwheat, a great food crop, a great fall food crop, a great food plot to keep the honey flowing. We need the bees to pollinate the trees, and we need buckwheat to bring those bucks in.
I guess I don't make a living singing, but I can sing chestnuts roasting on an open fire. No, that's not. That's the same chestnut, isn't it?
It is the same chestnut. As a matter of fact, I roasted some chestnuts last night.
Ooh, it's Christmas in September already. It's getting cool weather. 70 degrees is getting cool for us. We're really reaching here, aren't we, Paul?
We are. We're digging for material.
Hey, but it's about having a good time, and it is about growing things. You enjoy it, I enjoy it. We want to pass it on to our kids. We want to pass it on to others, and it's just something about digging in the dirt, getting your hands dirty, and
That's
having
right.
a good time.
I believe that we all want to inspire our children to follow in the same endeavors that we've found virtue in or enjoyment in, be it hunting, be it gardening, or any of these things. And inspiring kids is one of the best things we can do. You mentioned these kids are going to be third grade, are going to be the first ones on this mission to Mars. Well, these third graders are going to be the ones that are, hopefully combing my hair for me when I can. I sure would like a fresh tomato then too.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Paul, I really do appreciate you coming by, and I hope that people will give your business GrowFresh. One thing that you said that while we were visiting off air was that you like providing a real job to people and helping for them to provide for their families. And, when you start a business, it's just something about starting a business and watching it grow, and yours has been fortunate enough to grow. I hope mine's definitely grown. I can't believe I started out having to go to the recording studio and recording my show and then doing it out of my home and now having my own building. It's been really a neat process, and I wish you all the best and thank you for coming.
I'm very glad to be here. I love local businesses as much as anybody else, and I thank you for having me and look forward to seeing any of the listeners.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and we'll be right back with the Sports Hog 103.1. Thank you for listening.